anything sticking out the hood that far.
Yeah.
And I had to do something.
And that's weird seeing a cow on a Z like that.
Yeah. I just didn't want to.
It looks cool though.
I didn't want to leave the manifold sticking out because everybody be like, oh, he got an LS in there.
Yeah.
No, I don't have an LS. You know?
Well, keep them thinking.
Yeah.
When you run them down with a 2.5 liter.
Shoot, with the maximum at the track, we have people, you know, when you're just testing tuning, you line up beside whoever.
Right.
And this one guy, I beat him, and he came up, he was like, what the f*** is in that thing? I was like, it's just a V6 all motor, man. He was mad as hell. He was in Mustang. Yeah. But he was cool about it. Yeah. But he was like, what the f***?
Instead of enjoying what just happened,
yeah.
bugger.
So you can imagine the shit the Honda people have been through all these years.
Oh, yeah.
Good God.
Nobody wants to lose to a 4-door Nissan, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost worse losing to this car than a Civic. Because now Civics are known to be fast.
They are known to be fast.
These
This is like your grandpa's car.
Yeah. This is like the new Civic.
You hear that, Chris?
Yes, and
Your new Civic.
don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah, kind of is, because
We're going to delete this with a Honda badge right there.
This is blasphemy.
Because think about it, 15 years ago, Civics had no respect. But
Right.
And these cars don't have much. But now we're getting pretty fast.
Now the part availability for these are getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you swap them and do all that, you get all that little extra that you didn't get from the first motor.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about buying a silver car for me. He wants that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turbo with that.
Yeah, he's a turbo guy.
He's a turbo guy.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah, same here.
at all.
See, my
Unless it's factory turbo.
Yeah, well.
That's what I was saying yesterday. If the car came from the factory to turbo, it's meant to have a turbo.
Yeah. These VQs they're weak as shit. When it comes
Yeah,
to
but
it.
I mean, we got to pull it apart to fix all that department. But I mean,
Yeah.
even if you take one of these and put a small amount of boost on them, they should be able to pull a little good. Don't you think?
I mean, you can make, on a second gen, you can make 400 horsepower very reliable. But think about it.
People get the itch.
Yeah, that,
Do you keep turning it up?
but think about it, man. We're making 300 horsepower basically on full bolt on second gen. And you turbo it and you only make 100 more horsepower? That's a waste of time.
It is actually.
That's why people don't, that's why I don't care for it that much. How you gonna turbo a car and only get 100 horsepower? I can put that damn fuel in that car and make the same horsepower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's why people won't leave it at 400. They turn it up because to make it more worth it. And then what happens?
Well,
Blows up.
you be picking pieces up.
Yep. And then what happens is people either put another motor in it, or they build a motor, or they scrap the project. I've seen it over and over and over and over.
Well, the manifolds and stuff and that, they all made at home. Nothing's actually out there. There is a kit out there, but it's like $5 grand for the kit, and that's not worth it.
Yeah.
What, a Sterling kit or something?
What's that?
What is it, a Sterling kit or something?
No, SFR.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But the problem is the kits out, the cars out there that are boosted, they don't regulate boost correctly, and they'll overboost.
Yeah. I mean, by the time boost does kick in, it's so violent on the front wheel drive, you lose traction.
Oh, yeah. Now we've done a couple of them, and they're fun as hell to drive on the street because you get that spinning.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's not fast.
Yeah, it's not practical, is what you're saying.
It's fun, but not fast. This year, I would enjoy driving more than a stock motor turbo car.
Yeah.
And if you want a turbo car, get you a Honda K Series. You can make 600 horsepower pretty easy on this.
Well, I got a JZ, so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I got.
Well, there you go. Then no turbo rims.
But I just thought.
He wants to turbo everything.
Since he's got the old motor one, I could build a turbo one.
Yeah.
And then.
And blow it up and then start over.
I mean, we got to test the limits of the factory motor.
I mean, you would have to really spend some time on the piping and the design of the kit. Nobody's really ever designed a really solid kit for a street car. I would like to do it one day, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Sell a kit and tell people you could only make 400 horsepower? Otherwise, it's gonna get iffy.
Yeah.
450, but kind of pushing it.
Yeah.
I mean.
How'd that six-speed swap hold up in the 7th gen with the turbo? He's still going?
Yeah, I don't think it's his second car now, I don't know how many miles he puts on that thing a year. But he loves that car. He'll never get rid of that.
That was clean.
Yeah.
Super clean.
Yeah, but those cars at the factory boogie.
Yep, they got the good engine, that's for sure.
They do.
So when you did this one, it was like the, I think 07 plus Ultima. So with the swaps, you can use the 07 Ultima or the Maxima weight years?
2009 and up.
Is between the two, is there any like difference?
Yes, we only use Maxima motors now.
But this one's the Ultima one, right?
Yeah. The Maxima motors are better. Because you get the Maxima intake manifold, you get a little bit higher compression. And believe it or not, you actually get more options when you're buying the engine, because a 3.5 Ultima is more rare in the junkyard than a Maxima.
Yeah, it's 2.5.
You know, it's just basic supply and demand, actually.
Right,
So
right.
nowadays, you can get a Maxima engine a lot easier than Ultima anyway. Plus, the 0708 Ultima engines had some issues with cam bolts being short and actually breaking the cam. For you, it don't matter because you got aftermarket cams and got all issues resolved.
Right.
I tell people to stay away from the 0708 Ultima. So basically, get 09 and up, Maxima preferred, or Ultima, or even Murano is okay. Yeah. I mean, I deal with one junkyard, and over the last 4 or 5 years, I've bought over 100 motors from them.
Wow.
And mostly Maximas. And I think the supply on the 09, like 10 and 11 Maximas is starting to dry up actually, because the cars are kind of old now. You know, you're talking a 10, 11-year-old car.
That's if they're gonna crush them and get rid of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, and as the car gets older, the engine price goes up. So there's always a sweet spot, is what I've learned. And now the sweet spot is like 12, 13, 14 engines.
Okay.
Because it's more when people have that confidence where they send them to the junkyard.
Yeah, the supply of those cars is more than the 09, 10, 11.
Now, which transmission works better on these? Because I know there was a difference.
As far as the gearing,
Yeah.
I like 4-1.
This is 6th gen, right?
Yes, they started 4-1 gear in 04. I've gotten deep into transmission stuff with the carbon fiber synchros. But yeah, I prefer a 4-1 final with carbon synchros. That is just a badass trans.
It's old.
Yeah, and the shifting is amazing. I mean, if you want to do something, I'd highly recommend putting carbon synchros in the trans. Now, if you boost it, you probably want to do a 3.8 gear.
Okay. Yeah, get the gear mile an hour.
Yeah, but for all motor, 4.1 really helps for these cars.
The 3.8 gear is what comes in the 5.5, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if I start doing a swap, you don't have any exhaust manifolds left, do you?
Our headers?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any.
That's the thing. What are you gonna put on there? Headers and catback.
Headers and exhaust are the biggest problem for these cars. There's not many options there. That's one of the biggest hard things on these cars.
Everybody tries to hunt down cabins, but there aren't a lot around anymore.
Yeah, they're hard to find.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're good headers, but for the performance level we're at now,
They dated.
yeah, we need bigger piping than even those have. As far as the headers, it's a 2.5 watt pipe. We need 3. The primaries could be a little bigger, like our headers, stuff like that.
Well, I remember the first version of this car you did, or the white car really. It had it still had the OBX stuff on it. I remember you telling me that's really what's holding everything back.
Yep. Because the OBX primaries are the smallest of all of them. They're 1.5 inch primaries.
Oh, okay.
They're tiny. These primaries are 1 7/8, which is 1.88, and the Catmans are 1 5/8.
Wow.
1.5 primary is tiny for a 3.5 with cams and such.
So when I first had the first build done, and you put that Neo on there, the Apexi Neo, were you doing a lot of those, or was that just kind of something you were trying out?
I wasn't doing a lot of them. That was kind of the old school thing that the option at the time.
Yeah.
You had an AOC controller, you had a block band, and that's how you tuned your fuel.
Right.
That was before the reflash. Other than that, you had to get an expensive Palatech.
Right.
Definitely.
And that was all my, that was what I done, and those are nice, but you still had the factory computer in place, and you still had limitations and issues with stock computer controlling things and how to controlling things, and
Right.
I mean, at the time it worked good for what we had, but the reflash stuff is a million times better, and since there's a lot of custom programming, we're kind of unlimited to what we can do.
Yeah.
We do more ECU reflash things on these 0203 Maximas than the other companies do on the Zs. We
Right.
have more features.
The issue that I had, and I know some other people had, where the throttle sometimes stopped responding. How was that resolved?
You have to hardwire sometimes. It's the factory connector that goes to the stock throttle body, that green connector on your engine harness.
Right.
They can cause issues. A lot of the Sentra guys have those issues. Even in stock form, the Sentra guys have those issues.
Yeah.
It's the engine harness side, it's the car side that's causing issues, not the throttle body adapter harness.
Okay.
Some people use the adapter harness and never have an issue, and some people have an issue. It's just the car. So what I tell people to do is cut that off and just hardwire it if you're having issues. I mean, you could technically replace that green pigtail on the stock harness, but why would you do that when you could just cut both sides off and adapt the second gen throttle body connector in there?
Well, if you want that problem now, it's a completely different throttle body.
Yeah. And I hardwired it actually too.
But even after the second time you had the car, we didn't really get that issue
No, we
anymore.
never had that problem.
It was just the first time around.
See, there's no green connector anymore.
Okay. Because I remember you'd sent me another green connector.
And it would seem like it helped for a little while
Yeah.
or something. And then a lot of times what happened was when people drove and it was raining, they would have the issue.
Oh, okay.
Something about that side would have issues when it was raining.
But we remember the second time you did the car, and that's when you did the cams and you tuned the PCM directly, and it was like night and day. I mean, the first iteration of the car was awesome, but then the second time we were like, oh, this is way better.
Yeah, because with the AFC Neo, you're only getting fuel tuning. With
Right.
the reflash, you're getting ignition timing, cam timing, rev limiter. You're getting more of a full, complete tune.
Yeah,
Right.
you're just tricking the computer to
Yeah.
think different a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's trying to go back to its roots and fight with them.
So it's kind of always fighting each other.
Somewhat, yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. But being able to tune the stock computer, it's a million times better. And now we can tune that throttle body stuff, which that was pretty involved there.
What's next? What's the next thing?
For the tuning stuff,
Yeah.
we actually have nitrous control in testing right now, where you can control nitrous with the stock computer. We could even control a boost control solenoid, but that's probably later down the road. But the next thing is we're hooking aftermarket wideband sensors to the stock computer, and we're hooking a flex fuel sensor, so we can run true E85 the right way.
Right.
Problem is where we live, there's no E85.
Yeah. So all that's in testing right now.
Okay.